So today our topic is evolutionary computations using genetic algorithms. Context of this topic is to look at our options while creating expert systems when we are not uh, having access to human experts. How can we involve different machine learning algorithms to extract knowledge from data? We looked at artificial neural networks. And the second option we are going to learn today is genetic algorithms. We'll start with a little bit of background with the objectives in mind that we want to build a basic understanding of evolutionary computing and what are the genetic algorithms. We will start by discussing the basic fundamental laws of evolution and how do we map those into computational intelligence such that the basic core principles of evolution in biology can be mimicked in computational intelligence. The key vocabulary we are going to repeat again and again is going to be fitness function, evaluation and selection, reproduction, crossover, and mutation. Evolution, as we generally know, is the natural process of selection of best fit organisms. Over time, nature has a way to improve and adapt the organisms through natural selection. The process has multiple aspects to it, but it's called evolution in the quite popular theory in biology, how organisms evolved from single cell amoeba to complex intelligent species like us. So as natural selection leads to better and better solutions, we expect that somehow if we apply those same principles and operations in a search space for a population of solutions, we expect that we will end up with the best solution if we repeat the evolutionary process again and again. For that process, first thing that needs to be there in the first phase or step or condition is that there is a kind of heredity passed on from one generation to the other one. So in case of computational intelligence, that thing that we pass on to the next generation of solutions is the particular information encoded in terms of bits and bytes. Second, every time we pass information to the next generation, there is some variation. So next generation don't just get a copy of the earlier or parent generation, but there is a certain kind of variation, random or stochastic, at the same time a little bit of engineered variation that results in evolution. The third thing that should be there for evolution to occur is differential reproduction. So this concept says that some individuals in the population get a better chance to pass on their genes to the next generation compared to the other individuals. So one population will pass their genes, individuals in that population, but some of the individuals will get a better chance. We'll refer to that as differential reproduction. Combining heredity, genetic variation, and differential reproduction into algorithms can bring intelligent solutions from sheer randomness. Let's look at a crude example of how different operations of evolution work on different generations. So here we are looking at each level. There is one generation. We start with this, let's say, one individual in generation one. And in the next generation, that individual has some degree of variety. So the one of the offspring in the next generation is same as parent, but two are varying in color. In the third generation, we see that there is another operation that is selection operation. So beyond third generation, the process discontinued passing genes of this particular individual. So we can say that unfavorable mutations are deselected from the process. In the fourth generation, again, we see reproduction and mutation is occurring, and due to that mutation, we see the variety that we had termed as genetic variation. In the generation 3, when we deselect this individual to pass on to the next generation, then what we are doing here is differential reproduction. In the fifth generation, we discontinue passing these individuals to the next generation, and only these individuals get a better chance to pass their genes to the next generation. And this process, if we keep on repeating for hundreds and thousands of times, biological evolution may occur maybe in hundreds of thousands of years, but in simulation, we can repeat this in seconds. And if we keep the same principles of heredity, genetic variation, and differential reproduction, we hope to see an optimal solution for a given problem. So the fundamental laws of evolution, well, we will refer to them as the survival of the fittest. So in a population in the environment, we have many generations in the left-hand side box. When they pass to the next generation, only few left. The others don't get a chance, or they didn't continue to the next. And in the third generation, rightmost box, we see some kind of variation coming through certain evolutionary processes, reproduction processes that we'll study. Now, if evolution brings some adaptability and better individuals or better generations over time, can we call it intelligent? If we accept that intelligence is the capacity of the system to adapt its behavior to ever-changing environment, then regardless of the form of the intelligence need not to look like humans. Intelligence, if defined to be adaptation, power of adaptation or becoming better over in many generations, then yes, evolutionary computation is intelligent. So if we can create computer-based problem-solving systems that work on these principles and solve problems that we come across in machine learning or other domains, then we can call them as intelligent solutions. So we are going to simulate this process. Result of the simulation is going to be a series of different steps and algorithms. Each step we are following some simple rules of to materialize evolutionary principles, and the only thing we want to study and encode in our programs is their repeatability. Over time, we repeat those processes and monitor the health of the solution with some kind of a function that gives us a degree of goodness of the next generation solution. And that's all. We can say that this proposition of bringing evolutionary principles in computations is quite well motivated. The only problem that we will be trying to figure out for a given solution, a given problem, the only thing we need to figure out is how we measure the goodness, how we measure the fitness how we measure the appropriateness of the solution. So we need to have a yardstick for every problem. There should be a function in machine learning, you call it objective function or fitness function. So if the fitness function is good enough to measure and rank the individuals with respect to some criteria, then we are good.